Good evening, everybody. I am Str8JaktJim here tonight with Natty for a little bit different podcast, going back to a bit of live and dangerous here. It's going to be fun, isn't it, Natty?
We like taking risks here at Game on Oz. I'm sure we're not going to have any tech difficulties at all.
Oh, no, I'm pretty sure I sorted all the tech difficulties in the warm-up, because there were a few. We got there in the end. That's why we're a little bit late, but we got there. Yeah. But yes, welcome to everybody watching, especially to our GOA members who are paid members here for us to get the added benefits of having their own little channel in our Discord, as well as some money, like some discounts that they can get to various things as well. So thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of that. And thank you to everybody else for tuning in and watching. The big week coming up, Natty. We've got a couple of things going on for GOA.
Oh my goodness, it's a huge week. I think first I'm going to totally brag about Saturday's event coming up, if you don't mind me doing
Go
that.
for it. I'd be bragging about it if I was there.
Heck yeah. So on Saturday, the lovely folks in Adelaide and our GOA members are going to join me at the Stag with Eddie Williams, the strongest man in the country, and surprisingly a man who has the most wonderful singing voice in the world, which is just... Yeah, who would have thought those two things go together?
That clip of him on Australia's Got Talent, that's incredible.
Yeah. Just I feel like next time we have an Adelaide catch up, it has to be at a karaoke venue. It just has to be. I'll get up there and do some backup singing for Eddie. But it's not too late to register if anybody wants to register for the event, and they're going to be in South Australia on Saturday between 4 and 6 o'clock.
Yep,
Feel free to come down.
For people that are willing to come along.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to. Oh, you've already done that because you're awesome.
That's it.
Awesome.
Quick or the dead around here.
So GOA is going to be taking care of some lovely drinks and some food for us. So it's just going to be a casual catch up. And some awesome people are coming. I know a few people from the Adelaide game dev community are going to be popping down, and some people from the Adelaide Twitch community as well. So it's going to be a good day, good mingling, drinks and fun, and get lots of game chat, which will be wonderful.
Good chance to catch up with everybody and meet some new friends and old ones.
Yeah, well, I'm really looking forward to seeing who's coming, because I don't have the list yet of who's registered. So I know lots of people said they're coming, so looking forward to it.
Be surprised all night.
Yeah, well, I kind of like that idea, actually. Just rock up and see who I see.
Yeah, nice.
Who doesn't love a good surprise?
Yeah. So that's happening Saturday night for Adelaide there, but also on Saturday during the day, we're having a community event for Rocket League as well. So this is just a small community organised event, nothing too big, just playing for fun. So if you're keen, drop into our Discord. There's also I think Battlefire. Hang on, I don't think I got a command for this, but tournament.gameonoz.com I think it is.
I think that's the one. Oh, and Gam, we are definitely getting some pictures at the event. No worries about that.
Oh, yes. Pixel didn't happen.
Exactly. Well, that's the kind of world we live in now. Got to have those grand moments.
That's it.
All right. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Rocket League tournament, because it was really exciting last time we had one. Obviously, that one was open to everybody, but we're keeping this one just to the GOA community. So if you're tuning in and want to join us, just once Jim gets a link up there, just follow that through, and you can register and join us for some fun games.
The tournament.gameonoz does go to our Battlefire page, but links directly to the Forza tournament that we run. But I've just put a link in there. But you can use tournament.gameonoz.com to get to our Battlefire page, and then find the sign up sheet for Rocket League there. So it's going to be good fun. The last Rocket League tournament was just good. We had the voice channel chats in Discord for the teams that were playing, but everybody that was competing just sort of hung out in another communal voice chat anyway. It was just really cool, nice chilled community feel. It was good fun.
Yeah, it was awesome. I just loved the camaraderie between everybody. We were having a few little tech difficulties, and everybody was just laughing and having a good time. So if you want to have a good time and some Rocket League, come along for sure. Oh, and you know the other exciting thing that's already happened this week.
Mm. Oh, tell
Yeah.
me, tell me.
Tell you. Pentanet GG, and I cannot believe Pete is not here to
Oh, I know.
scream about this.
He
So,
has a good reason not to be here. I'm not sure if we can
yeah,
say just yet, but it is a good
not yet.
reason.
Not yet,
Yeah.
but so Pentanet made it through the Rumble stage, which I think, they were underdogs to make
Mm.
it through there. We were lucky to be in a group of three teams
Hmm.
to just have to battle against two other teams and try and beat one of them to get a place into the Rumble stage, which we did, which is awesome. And we've, been playing these round robin games against the best teams in the world, and we, had some close matches, but hadn't been winning.
Mm.
Pentanet were doing a good job of keeping their spirits up, and there were lots of raise your koalas on Twitter going on. Um, but
I
the
love that the host of MSI did a shoey on stream for us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when Pentanet won their game, Shocks, and I'm not sure who the other person was because
Hmm.
I'm terrible at remembering names, apologies.
Hmm.
Yeah, they did a Red Bull shoey, which
Mm.
honestly, I don't know how a Red Bull shoey would go because
Oh, I
it's kind
think
of sweet and sweat
yeah,
together
probably about the
rather
same
than
as
beer
like a beer
flavor.
shoey would go. Not particularly tasty. I remember years ago, I was out somewhere and my mate was sending me messages about he was doing a shoey, so he sent a picture of the shoey, and then another one of his wet shoe. Yeah, would not recommend. Now shoe is wet because he actually was drunk enough already that he used his own shoe. So go buy a
Yes.
special shoey shoe. That's the trick to doing shoeys, I think. Yeah,
Oh,
one that doesn't
okay.
have sweaty feet in it. Yeah.
So you need a prime fresh shoey
That's it.
shoe.
I hear Crocs are good. That's about the only thing Crocs are good for. They got the holes in them so that they just all pour down naturally. You could even like pour it in the back and take it out the front with a
Oh,
Croc.
take it out the
Yeah.
front. Oh my goodness, that would be a new Bogan shoey technique.
Um, I gotta like. So, be right back. I'm just gonna go and copyright that idea.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, you
I
guys
mean
heard
that,
it
that
here first.
well
You heard
that's
it here first. Nobody's stealing Jim's idea.
that's it. I mean they do those glass boots at like beer fests and Oktoberfests and stuff like that. Why not a drinkable Croc shoe?
Yeah, I really like that idea, like plugging all the other holes with little like stickers,
Mm.
fan stickers. Just have a couple of holes at the front for beer dispensing.
Oh yeah, we've gotten a little bit off topic here, but well done, Pentanet.
We have.
Just seeing them going through it, like their mental state. I got to say, their mental game had to be right up there. Like, and I've always loved going back and listening to their voice comms, and seeing what they were talking about, and even when they're getting stomped hard by the big teams like Daiwan Gaming and RNG, and they were just having a laugh.
Yeah,
They
no.
knew they were the small fish there, and they were just having a good time.
Have a great time.
Mm.
And I do have to give a bit of a shout out to yourself and Blue and Mercury, and I think even Gamma as well joined us on a few of the late nights because in Australia, these games that they were playing, it's international, the events in Iceland. And so we were having games at, 10:30 at night and then another game at 2:30 in the morning. So the Pentanet faithful were up and watching the
Oh yeah,
games.
I think
It was,
being in Western Australia, the earliest it started was 9 o'clock at night, and that was the very first game for us. And yeah, being in Adelaide, it was another hour and a half
yeah.
on top of that.
Yeah, and our poor East Coast friends and New Zealand
Oh
folks. I
yeah,
mean, if you're in New Zealand, you might as well go to bed first
that's it. Go to
and
bed
then
early and get
get
up.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, get up early. But as a special shout out to Mercury because he was casting for us in chat pretty
Mm.
much, which was wonderful getting his insights into some of the strats and plays that the Pentanet GG guys were throwing out there. But yeah, picking up the victory against Cloud9 was kind of a little bit sweet. I think there's a little bit
Mm-hmm.
of uh, what's the right word? I don't know. There's something extra nice about us
Yeah.
picking up a win against a North American team. So.
Yeah, well, considering, for those of you that don't know the last sort of 6 to 12 months of League of Legends esports in Australia, there used to be a league called OPL that was running last year. And at the end of that season, it was shut down by Riot Games, and a lot of the players were given a path to go through North America to be a professional player if that's what they wanted to do. Some of them took them up on that offer, and they basically the end result for us was funneling a lot of our best players through to North America. But the Australian League came back. It had some backing from a couple of local businesses here, and like Pentanet.gg is named after a business to start with. It's owned by Pentanet, and you got Legacy Esports, Gravitas, and a few other esports organisations jump back in as well. And we had our own self-funded competition pretty much, and got a wildcard entry to MSI, which Pentanet took, and they've just shown what we can do even without the backing of Riot. It's been great to see.
Yeah. Oh no, it's been wonderful, and I think that, you know, just what I was having a chat to Pete about at our meeting this week was going from, you know, 1 to 2K followers on Twitter to 20K followers on Twitter. Says a lot about how Pentanet have made the most of this opportunity at MSI, and I think that hopefully that flows on to boosting the LCO. Hopefully everybody that's been watching and following Pentanet pulls in an extra friend to watch League of Legends when the local season kicks back off again. Dave Harris, I think it is, the one of the leads for the LCO, has said that it should be kicking off in the next month. So we're just waiting to hear the start date, but fingers crossed, hopefully really soon, because I just don't think we can afford to wait. We need to get on the opportunity. Well, as soon as Pentanet are off that plane, let's get started.
Well, it does have to start pretty quick, because Worlds are in October, are they?
That's a good question. I don't know if things are going to get shuffled a little bit again, just because depending on coronavirus, if they're going to be going back to Iceland, or if they're going to be doing the bubble in China again, or who knows. There's still some things
either
up
way,
in
I think they'll be coming up pretty quick, so they get the league up off the ground again, and maybe have it go for a little bit longer. But it was just so good. And yes, Mercury, whatever they're paying the PGG social media manager, it's not enough.
Yes. But I just really hope that like all of that attention on Pentanet can flow to the LCO, flow to the other LCO teams, that everybody who's been following it and been like me. I have, you know, nursing professionals and digital health advocates and all these other kinds of other people that have, when I've been seeing them in person, have been going, what is Race Your Koalas about? So I'm hoping all this social media love is just spreading and giving us opportunities to have those conversations about esports with people who aren't necessarily in the space, but I think maybe open to jumping on board.
Yep. And I think it would be remiss of us not to mention, like, that's been the big one in Australia at the moment for Australian esports, the MSI with Pentanet.gg in there. But I think we also need to shout out the Rainbow Six tournament that's going on at the moment.
Yep, absolutely. Yep, the Rainbow Six Invitational happening at the moment. There's been really some brilliant quality games going on there. But yeah, disappointingly, Wildcard GG couldn't make it just because it was being hosted in France, and they were still having relatively high levels of COVID cases. So the federal government just said, no, sorry, can't let you go for that one. So
it happens. Like, it happened to the Vietnamese team that was supposed to be the fourth team in Pentanet's group stages that just couldn't make it in the end. So it's you got to play it safe. You got to do the right thing by your players and your coaching staff, and make sure that people are safe.
Absolutely. And hopefully, you know, as, you know, more vaccinations roll out and countries start getting COVID under control a little bit more, we'll have less restrictions on that kind of stuff. We can actually go and fly everywhere and take these opportunities. Otherwise, you know, why not just run everything in Iceland?
That's right. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I personally think everything should be running out of New Zealand. That's what I think.
I would like that as well. That's a bit closer to home, a bit nicer on the time zones.
Yeah, I like the idea of being able to watch games during daylight hours, but that's probably a bit selfish of me, because it would be nighttime for half of the rest of the world.
That sounds like the rest of the world's problem. That's
Yes, yeah.
They can get on our time zone for once, damn it.
I mean, it was interesting that we're having interviews with Gabe about moving some Steam and some stuff to New Zealand. So, but, you know, maybe. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So Mercury's just pointed out as well, Valorant Masters is beginning in Iceland after MSI finishes as well. So for any Valorant fans, they've got the international tournament for that kicking off straight away afterwards as well. Man, esports is just non-stop, and I don't know how anybody's not on board. There's got to be something there for everybody.
Oh, it's so good. Like I'm still waiting for this esports stadium to be built in Perth. Like there's still a few years off, but it
Yes.
was announced a while back, and I'm so keen for when it gets here. Like last year, Murdoch University, they've got like this community theatre that's sort of like telethon run, which is a charity over here in Western Australia. And so they managed to get in with them and use this big screen that was on Murdoch University. Pentanet, I think, got in as well and chipped in some money for it. And we watched the world's final last year on an outdoor cinema screen.
Yeah,
That
which
was
is
cool.
cool. I am still waiting somebody from Adelaide to do something.
Mm,
Like we don't even have a esports pub here. I'm
yeah.
beginning to think this is something just me I need to do. I need to just pull together all my pennies and
That's
and
it.
start an esports pub
Attach it to
because
your
it's not going
gym.
to happen otherwise. Oh yeah, just put in like an extra level at the
That's
gym.
it.
The top
Done.
floor can be the esports pub. Yeah, I'm sure I won't have any problems getting that through council.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Oh, so there's a few other things that have been going on that we wanted to chat about. I know that Nico wrote a wonderful article this week for us about a new Amiibo that's coming that gives us some extra
Yes.
functionality, which is making people a bit grumpy.
Yes, so I was reading a bit on this today as well, and if you haven't already, you should go to gameonoz.com and check out that wonderful article that Nico wrote there. So basically, Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is getting a re-release on the Switch. And as you'd expect, there's a couple of little modifications that are being made, but this one in particular has got people a little upset. I'm going to preface this with saying that Skyward Sword was probably the least well received Legend of Zelda in forever. Like I can't apart from maybe Phantom Hourglass and having to go back to its temple and redo it over and over again. It's the worst console one, I'll say. Like the handheld ones are different, but the worst console one, widely regarded as that. And it's got two sort of areas to it. So you've got in the sky and then down on the ground. And in the original game on the Wii, yeah, on the Wii, what you would do is that there'd be holes you could go down through the clouds, and then to come back up, you'd have to find a little statue somewhere on the ground, and that would send you back up. But those were only in certain places. What this Amiibo does now, and it's a good looking Amiibo. Like if you haven't seen it, it's
Yeah,
like a skywing, which is the bird that you can get around above the clouds with, and that's game's version of Zelda, which looks really really cool.
oh, yeah, it
Um,
looks, it's called a loft wing.
Loftwing, sorry, I knew it
Yeah.
was something like
No,
that.
no,
Yeah,
that's okay.
yeah,
I wouldn't have known if it wasn't up on my
yeah.
screen.
Um, but what this Amiibo does is basically acts as fast travel. So, and what it means is that when you're down on the ground, you can use that Amiibo, and it'll take you straight up to Link's home village called Skyloft, and you can buy stuff, or some weapons break, so you can get them repaired, and you can do other things as well. And
Oh,
then when you use
breakable
it
weapons.
again, it'll
Sorry.
take you straight down to where you left from. So it remembers where you came from. And a lot of people are upset about that because it's seen by a lot of people as what should be core functionality, and now Nintendo's gone and hidden it behind an Amiibo. And I kind of get it, but part of me is going, this is an additional thing they brought in for the game. And from what I'm hearing, it's more a port than a remake. So I don't. There are certain things that you can not like Nintendo for, like how crappy their online system is, and
Mm,
and and shutting down the Melee Smash event from being online last year as
yeah.
well. This, I don't really see it as such a big issue. Yes, it makes things longer, but it's a new feature for the game, and yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have a
I
problem with this one.
I have a lot of problems with this only because Amiibo historically have an awful history of not being widely available. So
Mm.
it's not so bad in Australia, but certainly in the US and across the UK, you might not be able to get your hands on an Amiibo. So if you want to play this game and think, oh yeah, that would actually help me a lot to not want to bash my head through my console because it's really, an extra challenge to do the original gameplay style. Um, it's just restricting that for people. Why wouldn't you want the game to be the best game it can be? I mean, I put this on par with, those games that give you boost to your experience so you can grind
Yeah.
faster. Like that's what this feels like to me. And it feels like you're leaving grind in your game unless people can pay for it not to be there or can magically get their hands on this amiibo. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and I guess it comes from me. I've only played through it once, and it was years ago on the Wii, so that's a whole two console generations ago. But I don't remember there being too much of a grind to go back. Like, there's the occasional time when, oh, this has happened, so I need to go buy something, or I've taken a lot of damage, so I need to go back and buy a potion or something to just to give me that extra bit of security. But I don't remember there being too much of a grind to
Yeah.
get back up. And
Well, I'm purely meaning time grind
oh
in this
yeah,
case.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. That's
yeah.
it. That yeah, that, and that's what I'm meaning as well. Like,
Mm,
and whenever you were due to go back up, like after finishing a dungeon or something like that, you ended up being fairly close to a statue to get back up anyway. So, well, that was my experience with it. So I don't, like I said, I don't see this one being that big an issue.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, I think the big thing is here, most people aren't going to go back and play the game anyway. Um,
I am. I've got it
so,
pre-ordered, and I've got the Legend of Zelda Joy-Cons pre-ordered as well.
oh, no way.
Yeah, they're
So
really
even though
cool looking
you didn't
ones.
really enjoy it, well, you didn't really enjoy it
Well,
that
no,
much, you're still going to jump
I
on?
didn't say I didn't enjoy it. I said it's widely
Oh, okay.
regarded as one of the worst ones. I actually really enjoyed it, but I don't mind waggle controls, which the Wii was all about the motion controls,
Yeah.
and a lot of people had trouble with the the horizontal and vertical slashes, and like there was even some diagonal slashes in there that you needed to do, and like this was the game that they invented the Wii Motion Plus for. So it was like a little additional thing that plugged into the bottom of your Wiimote to give you more,
More oomph.
yeah, well, more what's the right word? More accuracy in your
Yeah.
controls. And there's, if you go and have a look at it, there's like clips of Miyamoto not trying to demo it on a stage at a big event and not being able to, because
Yes.
it wasn't
Yes.
working quite right. But
Mm.
um, but for
Oh,
me, I didn't
Nintendo.
have a super bad time with it, and I quite liked it. It was slightly different, and timeline wise for Zelda, this is right at the beginning. So this is kicking off Legend of Zelda timeline wise. So it
So
was
it's like the
quite
origin
interesting.
story.
Yeah, it was quite interesting from that point of view for me. So
Okay, so I'm going to be annoyed as hell at this, and you're not going to really care too much. That's where we've landed.
pretty much, yeah.
Luckily for
But
me,
also,
I'm not going to play
yeah,
it.
but and I think part of that was because I didn't have as much of an issue with Skyward Sword at the beginning. Like, there's
Mm,
so many people did have a big issue with the motion controls, which I didn't really mind too much. Like, it's gimmicky, but I didn't really mind. And um, and like and part of it's I collect amiibo, so I'm going to be getting this amiibo no matter what. So
yeah.
it's not going to worry me that much. In fact, I was looking today to see if it was up for pre-order in Australia or anywhere yet, which hasn't quite made it that far. So, but I will be definitely pre-ordering them because I think there's three amiibos that are missing from my collection. One is America only, so I could get it off eBay, but I just haven't gotten around to looking at it yet. And there was a double pack when it got to the point where I thought Nintendo had got a handle on releasing amiibos, and so I just didn't bother pre-ordering it, and then I couldn't find it anywhere.
Uh,
So, but yeah,
yeah, so yeah. That was my other problem. Yeah.
mm,
You can't find it. It sucks.
yeah,
Anyway, we'll move on. We'll
that's
move
right.
on.
But
I easily get wrapped up in these things. It's like,
No,
Not that important.
but it could be. It could be like I said. There's a lot. Like Nintendo was trending at one time today on Twitter, and all the talk was about locking this fast travel behind a paywall. So it's a big thing to Nintendo fans, and you know what? People are still going to buy it because it's Nintendo. And I was talking to someone about this the other day, I think it was, and it was just like I said, Nintendo do some crappy things, but I'm still going to buy Mario. That's about the only company I've got any brand loyalty to, but I'll still say when they do bad things. But yeah, Nintendo still make great games.
They do. They do. They've got a really unique corner of the market that it's always going to bring us back. I mean, I know I'm going to be getting Mario Golf. There's no way I'm not going to be getting Mario Golf. I have a love affair with that game that goes back decades. It's just the way it is.
How's new Pokemon Snap going?
Pokemon Snap is great. So I have to write a review for it. It is coming, and I'm sorry it is late. This is my fault. But my favorite part about this game is that if you're an adult and you want to relive those Pokemon Snap memories, it's 5 minutes. Each run is 5 minutes or less. So you go through the map and take your pictures. You're looking at 5 minutes, and it's just pick up and play, right? I can take it off the dock, load it up, do a run, put it back in, off I go. Not that many games these days have that kind of level of just get in, do a level, get out. Pretty much every other game I'm playing at the moment, I'm looking at, 30, 40-minute level cycles or whatever it might be. So,
or at least if you're playing an open world game, trying to find a spot to put it down in that feels appropriate,
Yeah. And I want to say it's not addictive in the way other turn-based games get. It's certainly not like a Civilization or anything like that, where your turn's over and you feel compelled like you have to go and do another level. But they do a really good job of pacing out like unlocks and stuff and skills and levels opening up as well. So, after every run or two, you are getting a new feature or a new map or a new something, which certainly does encourage you to keep playing along. But bringing back a lot of memories for me. I played this game called Sea Life Safari, which is exactly the same, but obviously underwater. I was very late to Pokemon. I got it, Pokemon Snap. I got it when I got a Nintendo 64 when I was a adult, because I missed out on getting one when I was a kid. So it's good. Good.
Yeah.
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. Good rating there, right there.
Yeah. Recommended, I believe, is the word we're going with.
Yeah. Cool.
Are you thinking of getting it, or?
I am. I'm not a big Pokemon fan myself. Like, probably the Pokemon game I've played the most, and it is the Pokemon game I've played the most, and I'm probably going to get a lot of shit for this, is Pokemon Go. That's like,
Pokemon Go's great.
I'm still playing it. Like, I've played it since it launched, and it's good fun. I've been having good fun with it, and just quietly. Well, it's another thing I'm not really allowed to talk about too much, but I got into the Pikmin beta as well, so I've been having a go with that. So that's
super exciting.
Yeah,
I will not ask you any questions.
Oh, good,
I promise.
good. I meant, as soon as I mentioned it, I regretted it, because now I want to talk about it and I can't.
Just as long as it's better than a few of the other licensed ones that have come out recently. The Ghostbusters one was a little bit sad, and the Harry Potter one was a bit. It's okay. I might get some hate for that, but I couldn't get into the Harry Potter one either.
Yeah, I like Harry Potter, but I'm not a Potterhead. So, and I didn't mind the game itself, but it just. I think I was playing that, and there was a Walking Dead AR game at the time, and I was playing that.
Oh, wow.
It might have even been Ghostbusters too, it just, those are the sorts of mobile games you need to put a lot of effort into, and when one of the core mechanics is you walk to somewhere and do something, you can only really be playing one at a time, and what
do you mean? You need to be like that guy that had the bike with like the 20 phones between the handlebars and just driving your bike around. That's what you need to do.
But other than that, the first console Pokemon game I played was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee.
Wow!
And I've got the one that's got the mini Pokeball controller, and I just had to play. Like it was good fun just playing it with the Pokeball. It felt right. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah, I have very distinct memories of ruining my cousin's life because he loaned me Pokemon and I accidentally deleted his save file
oh no,
on his Game Boy
oh no.
version. Yeah, so I am on his like death list for sure.
Never been on the Christmas card list since.
That's it. Not invited to the wedding. No, no, no. I did bring it up to him and he just doesn't even remember it. And it's just in my mind is one of those moments where I am so careful anytime I am borrowing a game from anybody that's on a card. Just
Oh, that's
oh,
the worst. Like, actually, that reminds me of like of getting slightly off topic because we've got one more thing to have a chat about before we finish up for tonight. But there was that stream I did a while back, and I was going on the retro stream, so I pulled out my old Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Nintendo 64 cart, and I started playing it. And I played it for like 4 hours, and it got to a point, and I've gone, it's going to take me ages to get back to where I need to be. I know I'm going to do a save warp, so save the game and reset it. And that's when I realised that the battery on the cart had died and wasn't saving anything.
oh
I
no.
was not happy, Jan.
Oh, yeah, I have so many memories of
Yeah.
stuff like that happening. One day, my partner used to have to go into the hospital for treatments, and we were really lucky that we had a TV and could bring in a like we actually would bring in a console to play
Yeah.
games. I was playing Final Fantasy, and we'd been there for a couple of hours, and one of the staff unplugged the
Oh,
console because they needed a plug, and they just didn't even think that, like, and fair enough, like healthcare is probably slightly more important than my video game, but
what kind of a gamer are
also
you? Come on,
uh,
jeez.
just them pulling the plug on my game. I was like, no, the last 2 hours of grind. No.
Oh,
Oh.
but yeah,
All right.
but yes, but moving
So we,
on from that one,
yeah.
Disco Elysium. So a while back, Disco Elysium was submitted for classification in Australia here, and it got refused classification, and it came out yesterday or day before, I think it was, that it has been classified now, which is interesting. Like, I'm not sure what they've done to the game or if they've done anything to it to
Yeah, you,
get it
you know
passed.
what? The game was released in 2019 everywhere, but we didn't get it because classification board was in its initial ruling had said that the drug use in the game was being incentivized. So that's one of their big hot button issues. If you take drugs and you don't have ill effects from it, take inferred illicit drugs, and then if you get bonus XP or um, better focus or something like that, that's going to be a big no from our ratings board. Nothing has changed in the game whatsoever. They just got more feedback from the game devs. They reviewed the information that they looked at last time. Maybe they replayed it, who knows. But that was the only thing that had bumped them over to not getting classified, and this time around they've said the drug use is actually disincentivized in the game,
Huh.
so they've just flipped.
It's interesting, like, because you wonder if there's something later in the game that did it all. Because I don't think the classification board plays a whole lot of it. Because there's so many games that they must be coming in, and movies, and although does this board look after movies and TV shows as well, or is it
No,
just purely
as far
games?
as I know, they're all separate.
Yeah.
Oh, classification review board, maybe not. I know that the members on each board are
Oh, okay.
independent of
Yeah.
each other. Yeah.
But either way, they
Um,
must get a lot coming through. So the game developers would probably highlight the. I'm going to say worst, but that's probably not quite the worst. Probably the things that they think would bump it up to the
yeah.
next level, and just bring that to the attention of the classification board, and then they would decide based on that. So if there was something in the game further on down the line that the game devs could point to, or just re-argue the point that, well, no, it's not that because of this, then yeah, the classification board would change its mind.
Yeah. So I do have to specify the game was out 2019. The final cut which is the edition that's being reviewed, was released a couple months ago. Yeah, so that is the one that was initially refused a couple months ago, but now they're flipping, which is wonderful. So excited to see that they were willing to give it a second chance. I think they had a lot of feedback from the devs, and devs put in the formal reviews and went through the processes they needed to get it looked at again, and it got fixed. So that's exciting, but also a little bit worrying. Like, I wonder if there were game companies out there that didn't have the resources to go through the review board process again, if they just go, oh, look, too hard, we won't worry about it.
Yeah, well, there was, I forget the name of the game that Zulu reviewed. Well, he didn't technically review it because we weren't sure that if it would be reviewed. And, Zulu himself said that if it did get released here, it would most likely not get classification. So we turned it into an interview with the dev, which was really well done. But I just forget the name of the game. But anyway, that's sort of a thing that if it's done in the right way, I guess, and if it presents itself as sort of more arty and then just in there because they wanted to put it in there, I feel that there should be some sort of avenue for that, because it's a bit of an old argument of games as an art form as opposed to movies and TVs, and the idea that because it's interactive that games have a more of an impact. But yeah, I feel like there should be some other classification in there that the game should be able to apply for in that sort of a case.
I think that the lines they draw on what is acceptable for an adult, I don't personally agree with. Like, I think that there are a lot of things in different mediums that are okay that aren't in games, and then also considering that I don't know. I never have an eloquent way to say, but I just feel like it's quite old-fashioned where they draw the line, and they try to do it in line with Australian law. So, drugs are illegal, so we're worried about illegal drugs in the game.
But the silly thing about it is, and once again, I can't remember the name, it may have been a Fallout game where one of the drugs was called morphine and it healed you. And the classification board drew issue with that. And so they resubmitted it and changed the drug's name, and it was all good.
Yeah.
So it's only real world drugs that they seem to have a problem with. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, it is. Look, I think I'll have to sit down and properly go through all the information about it one day, because I honestly get left feeling like one of those people that's screaming about the nanny state, which I generally don't do. I like a lot of the protections and support that the government give us.
Here. That's what we need.
We do. He would give us what for. No,
and he's very eloquent in the way he does it.
He is. But I've got the actual ruling here. So it was just saying that in this case, the drug, in R18 games, drug use is permitted. However, it should not be related to incentives or rewards. And they've said, particularly in this game, they've found that it's there's character in the game managing their own alcohol addiction and dealing with substance abuse, and there are drug references in the game related to that, but they are never saying it's a good thing.
Okay.
Here we go. Here's the exact magic line we want. The game provides depictions and consumption of a drug labeled speed.
Okay.
So in the review board's opinion, this game provides disincentives related to drug-taking behavior to the point where regular drug use leads to negative consequences for the player's progression in the game.
Okay, there we go. That could also come down to drug terminology as well, because not really knowing a lot about it. I don't know this for sure, but I've always heard of speed in Australia as a drug, but I don't know if it's overseas. So it could have been something as simple as an overseas developer not knowing that speed was a drug in Australia.
Yeah. Oh, I think I I assume it's a relatively universal term for
Yeah.
amphetamines, but I don't
Hmm.
know. Yeah, I'm really down in the drug world. I totally know all the
Oh
drug.
yeah, I need to up my mafia game right now.
Oh,
I do
so
like
that's
how,
good.
some places creatively get around it. Like I always remember Stick of Truth when it came out, and there was a couple of scenes in there that didn't make it past the classification board, and they're going, well, we don't really want to do about it. And in typical South Park sort of a fashion, what they've done is when the scene comes along, they've thrown up a picture of a crying koala saying, "Sorry, Australia, you don't get to see this," and then written underneath what the scene is basically entailing. And they did it a
Oh,
couple of times, and it's just like, I don't know. Part of me thinks that just ends up being funnier because they've
yes.
acknowledged the fact that censorship in Australia was doing. And I think this was before we had an R18 rating as well. I think Stick of Truth came out.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, MA 15 plus was the highest rating that we had. So it was just like a creative way to get around it, and that was quite funny, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I definitely think we're in a better position now, and
Mm.
the fact that yeah, again, the board were willing to look at it again and
Yeah.
overturn it is definitely a positive sign. Um,
But
so you know,
and
it's good.
nothing against the classification board. They can only recommend based on what is in legislation. So they can
Oh,
only
yeah,
they have no control over the ratings. They can just apply the legislation to the games as they come in. So it's nothing against them. It's against the system itself, and that probably needs a
oh,
little bit of
yeah.
changing.
And I mean, potentially at this point, I feel like the R18 rating has been established for long enough that game developers should be aware. If you want to release this game in
Yeah,
Australia and you're planning to have sex, violence, drugs, then here
sex,
are
drugs,
your
rock and roll. Yeah,
parameters. Yes, that's right.
but yeah. Anyway, I
Oh,
think
so
that's about our time for this evening. Thank you for joining me tonight, Natty. It's
mm,
been good to have a chat.
it has been wonderful to catch up. We need to do this more anyway,
We
even if
do.
it's not in front of the Twitch viewers. But
That's it.
thank
So
you for
I think
having
start
me.
our own podcast. Screw Pete and Dan. We'll go
Oh,
start our own podcast. Yeah.
oh man, man, I don't know.
I
Sounds
still
like
reckon like we should record our meetings every now and then, and just when we find a good spot, we'll just take that and make that into a podcast because there are some rippers that
oh
happen in our
yes,
meetings.
yeah. That you know, I appreciate a lot the frankness of discussion that is in our meetings. I
Yes.
feel like we might not get to that level if people are being recorded.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with that too. It's a safe spot there too. It'd be nice, but yeah, it's a safe place. Yeah. Um,
Yes. Yeah. So look forward to Pete and Dan hopefully returning next week with
mhm.
some amazing goodness. And I know that we've got something exciting coming up with Jim as well.
That's it. Just straight after this, there's going to be a quick little break, and I'm going to come back with our final show for Nuts and Bolts, our World of Tanks ANZ Premier League show. And why it's the last show, you ask? Because the grand final is this weekend, Fortress Melbourne. We're going to talk about that more a bit later, though, straight after this. But yeah, if you're around in Adelaide, come along to the meeting and meet the wonderful Natty and also Eddie Joe Williams, one of the strongest men, who coincidentally holds the world record for pulling, I think it was a 5 or 8 ton tank, the quickest. It was stupid quick. And he also did it for a World of Tanks event.
Yes. My goodness.
Yeah.
If anybody needs to catch up on that, I think it was last week's podcast. Go and check that
Oh,
out, that
yeah.
interview with Eddie, because he was talking about how the technique he used was different to everybody else's,
Mm.
and he was going against a lot of really experienced competitors, going, "Oh, is this right? Am I doing the right thing?" But it felt comfortable for him, and then he ended up taking it out. So,
That's it. Yeah, you can check out our podcast. Gets released every Friday, wherever you listen to good podcasts, and also on our YouTube channel. So you can check out there. There's a lot of stuff there, and we try and put our shows up there. So we do a show on Thursday nights called Married with Dragons that Rogue Sultana and her husband Ben show off as well. So that's up on our YouTube if you've missed any old episodes, and also the old episodes of Nuts and Bolts as well. So very worthwhile having a look at that. But yeah, come along to the Adelaide meetup, or even if you're just around your house, sign up for the Rocket League community tournament that we've got coming this weekend. But we will, yeah, but that's it from us for now. Thanks for joining us. We will catch you in a bit.
Ciao.
Bye.